welcome to the Recipe Therapist. Honestly, there's nothing better than a homemade apple pie baking off in the oven. Today, I'm going to show you how I make my apple berry pie. I'm going to be using fruits like fresh blueberries and fresh strawberries. And along with that, I'm also going to teach you how I make a foolproof homemade pie crust. It's so delicious, buttery, flaky. You're gonna love it. So let's get started. We're gonna start out with the pie crust first. So let me show you what I put into it. We're gonna be using a 9.5-inch glass baking pie plate. I've used this several times, it works really well. We also have some all-purpose flour, some sugar, and some salt. Now, in my pie, I use a combination of buttered flavored shortening and salted butter. I like to use both in my pie because I feel like it just makes a more flavorful, flaky pie crust. We're also going to be using some ice cold water, and the secret ingredient to this foolproof pie crust is vodka. Believe it or not, vodka works so well in a pie crust because we need something moist to pull the dough together. And rather than just using water, which kind of sits in the pie while we cook it, this cooks out. All the moisture from the vodka and the flavor of the vodka cook out when we're baking it in the oven, and it just assists in making a much more flakier, delicious pie crust. So I'm going to be using my food processor today for this recipe. We're going to start out with the dry ingredients first. But what I've done was I've taken 1 cup out of the flour, and I'm preserving it for later after I add the shortening and the butter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my food processor and I'm going to add the flour. Okay, it's going all in there. And our sugar and our salt, okay? And then I'm going to just put the top back on, and I'm just going to pulse it till it's all combined. This is what the mixture looks like when it's all nice and combined, all the dry ingredients. So now we're ready to add our chilled shortening and butter. So I've cut it into little cubes like this, like 1/2 inch thick. And like I said, they're nice and chilled. So they're gonna go right in, okay? And then I'm going to pulse this until it's nice and combined and there's no streaks of flour left. This is what the mixture looks like with the shortening and the butter. You see how it's kind of crumbly like that? That's exactly what we want. So now we're ready to add our reserved 1 cup of flour that we saved before, and we're gonna add it right in here to this mixture. And then we're going to pulse this until it's all broken up in there, and you're gonna see it's gonna come together really nice. I took my pie crust mixture out of the processor and I put it into this bowl, and this is the look that you want. You see how it's nice and big and crumbly? This is how it should look after we put our shortening in. Now, before we add our last ingredients to this pie crust, I just wanted to point out, if you didn't have a food processor, you can use a grater like this and take your frozen butter and your frozen shortening and just grate it like this, and you would add it to the mixture and just mix it all together, and it would work just as well. So now we're ready to add our ice water and our vodka. So I'm going to take my chilled vodka and pour it right in, okay? And then the recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of ice water, so I'm gonna start out with 4, and if I need more, I'm going to add it in. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, so like I said, I'm just gonna add the 4, and then I'm gonna mix it together with my spatula, okay, a nice firm spatula, and then I'm gonna begin to mix it with my hands, and it's gonna come together into like a ball shape when it's all said and done. So I added a little bit of flour because when you add the liquids to the mixture, it gets kind of like sticky. So right now I'm forming it into a ball just like this. And this is what we want. It's nice and moist. And I'm just gonna go ahead and form it into a ball. And then we're gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna prep it for the refrigerator. So this is what the dough should look like. This is absolutely perfect. This is exactly what we want. So now I'm going to take this dough and we are going to divide it in half because we have to wrap it up with some saran wrap. So I'm going to divide it in two because we have a top layer and a bottom layer and it's so soft. Look at it. This is exactly what we want. So I'm going to form it into two discs like this. Okay, it's nice and easy to work with. I have my saran wrap ready. And I'm just gonna wrap it up like this. Okay, and I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for a half hour. And it's gonna solidify a little bit and it's gonna be perfect for us to begin to roll it out for our pie. So let's go over the ingredients of the inside of the pie while our dough is in the refrigerator. We're gonna start out with the thickening agent of the pie. I use tapioca, 1 minute tapioca. I've made this pie for so many years and this is my absolute favorite thickening agent. I don't use cornstarch or flour. However, if you want to, go ahead, but this recipe for me works best with the tapioca. We also have some salt here, some lemon juice, some cinnamon, and I'm going to be putting some almond extract and vanilla extract. I have some salted butter and of course some sugar. Now for the fruit, I have some fresh berries, blueberries, 3 honey crisp apples. They are my absolute favorite for this pie, especially this time of year with the fall coming up. And some fresh strawberries that I slice in half. I finished slicing my apples and they look great. I cut them into 1/4-inch slices like this. I do that because it ensures at the end of the day you get a piece of apple in every bite. So it's really important. Now we're ready to add our thickening agent, which is the tapioca, and our cinnamon. Okay, going right in. I want to get that all in. And the vanilla extract. And I can smell it, and it really smells good, and it adds such flavor to the pie. I'm gonna go ahead and mix this, and I'm doing it in this order because I wanna make sure that all 3 of these ingredients are well coated on these apples. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna add some of our other ingredients. My apples are nice and coated. I'm ready to add my fresh lemon juice, my sugar, get that all out, and my salt, okay? And I'm gonna mix this, and this is gonna start to form a little juice on the bottom as that sugar coats all of the apples. Now I wanted to just tell you, I'm using Honeycrisp apples because like I said before, they're my apple of choice. But a close second that I've tried is a Pink Lady apple, which works very well for this recipe, and a Gala apple. Look at my apples. You see how nice and coated they are? This is what you want. The tapioca, the cinnamon, the sugar, all nice and well and combined in these apples. So now I'm going to put the rest of my ingredients, which is my almond extract, into my berries in a separate bowl. And you're gonna see later why I keep them separate. And I'm also just gonna put like maybe a 1/2 teaspoon just to sweeten them up a little bit. And I'm gonna mix this together, being careful not to break them up. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna check on our pie crust. My pie crusts are ready, so now do is begin to roll them out. But before I roll them out, I have to knead them just a little bit with the flour. So I have my flour here, and I have my sifter, and I'm just going to put a couple of spoonfuls of flour in my sifter, and I'm going to put it on my cutting board because I do need a lot of flour to roll out this dough and knead it. So I'm going to just place it in this flour like this, and I'm gonna knead it about 5 or 6 times, just like this. So my dough is ready to go. It's ready for me to roll out. And now I take my pie plate and I turn it upside down just to give me a basis of how big I need to roll my dough out. So I'm going to take my disc and I'm just going to begin to roll it like this, back and forth. And then you're going to see it's going to roll out really nice. So the bottom of our pie crust is ready to go. I've spread it out. And now I'm going to show you a little trick of how we're going to put it into this pie plate. So I'm going to take my rolling pin and I'm going to go at the end here. And I'm just going to begin to roll it up, right like that. And I'm going to take the one end and let it lay on the plate and then begin to roll the rest out, just like that. All right? And then I'm going to begin to, manipulate it into this pie plate. And I think it's really looking good. So I'm gonna go ahead and press it in like this. And I'm going to come back and show you how I pinch the edges. So I've been pressing the dough into the pie plate, and it just is so workable, it's so perfect. And what I do is I fold the excess edges like this, okay? Some people cut them off. I don't cut them off. I fold them under and I use them. I don't want to waste any of this. And you know what else it does? It makes for a better edge of the pie, and you'll see that later. So we're gonna come back and then we're gonna fill it up with our fruits, and it's gonna be so delicious. So this is the fun part. We're ready to layer our pie. Yes, layer it. We're not gonna mix these two fruits together in the same bowl. We're gonna layer this pie, and that's what makes this pie so special. So come take a look at these apples. You see how they made that juice down there? And you can see it's already starting to thicken up. That's the tapioca. I'm telling you, it makes such a difference in this pie. So I'm going to take half of my apple mixture, just like that, with some of the juice, and I'm going to layer the bottom. That looks about right. And I'm just going to pat it down. I can use my clean hands too. All right, I think I'm gonna put a little bit more, just like that. All right, perfect. And then I'm going to take half my berries and put them right on top. Okay, and I'm just gonna repeat this process, and we're gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do the top. I finished the second layer of the pie, and do you see how beautiful it looks? I placed all the berries nice and evenly around the pie, and it looks just perfect. So now we're ready to put our butter, our salted butter, and I cut it up into little pieces like this. And I'm going to take my, clean hands, and I'm going to just evenly distribute this butter around the whole top of the pie. And this is gonna add such delicious flavor. It's gonna be so yummy. Now we're ready to do the top of the pie. So I kneaded the dough like I showed you before, and it's ready for me to roll out. So I'm just going to shake a little bit more flour on the top. Okay. And I'm going to roll this out like I did before, nice and big. And then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna slice it for a nice lattice top. My pie crust is rolled out into a perfect circle, which is going to be great for me to show you how we're going to do that basket weave or lattice top. So what I have here is a pastry wheel. It has like this fluted edge, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to go down the pie vertically, 1/2 inch slices, just like this. So the whole top of this. And then I'm going to show you how we're gonna put it right on top of this homemade pie. So now I'm just going to take the middle slice, and I'm gonna make this easy for us, guys. I'm not gonna do a fancy basket weave. What I do is I pinch the edges like that into the already, made pie crust, and take another piece, and I just go along the whole top until I cover it, and then I do the same thing for the next layer. I'll go across. Nice and easy, works for me. So I layered about 4 pieces along the top, and then I take 2 pieces and I go around the edge of the pie. I have one there and I have one here. And you see, come over here, I have these 2 ends left from my circle, so they go around the other part, the last 2 parts of the outer edge. See this? So we're gonna have this nice decorative edge to the pie. Now, the remaining slices, I'm just gonna go nice and easy across the top and pinch the edges in there. And then I'm gonna show you how we do the final decorative edge. So I already started doing my favorite decorative edge for a pie, which is what you see here. And I want to demonstrate, I left a little section here to show you how I do it. So I just take my four fingers and my thumb, and I press the forefinger in while I'm pressing the thumb out like this, see? And you come up with this beautiful decorative edge like that. Okay? Now, I'm going to take this pie, and a lot of people do an egg wash on a pie like this. I don't like the egg wash. I do a water wash. Okay, it's real simple. I have my little pastry brush here, and I just brush it really lightly. I'm not drenching it with some water, okay? I don't want to, make puddles or anything. Right on top and on the crust, just a little bit. All right, and then that's enough, that's perfect. And then I'm going to sprinkle some of the sugar on top, and it's gonna give us this nice caramelized top and that extra special crunch that we love so much on our pies, on our homemade pies. I've got my oven preheated to 375, and this is gonna bake for about 1 hour. I'm gonna put it on this cookie sheet, and it's gonna be outrageous. Hey guys, welcome back. So the pie has been cooling off for about 20 minutes, and take a look at it. It looks really good. You can see the apples in there and the berries. See how they still keep their shape? That's because we layered this pie. We didn't, mix it all up and mash it all up together. And that's exactly what we wanted. So now I am going to attempt to take a taste of this pie. So I'm going to cut into it. I've got my knife. I got a couple of different ammunition tools here in case I need them. So I'm going to slice it. Oh, and I can hear the crispiness of this flaky pie crust. Oh my gosh. And I think I'm gonna use this spatula to get in there real good and show you just how, oh my gosh, you see this? Look at this pie. Wow. That looks really, really good. And I just have one little apple here that was left behind. I mean, otherwise, you see, look at this. You see that gel there? That's the tapioca. And in the pan, you can see the glaze. That's exactly why I use tapioca. Now you see how beautiful this pie is? I'm telling you guys, you have to use the tapioca. So now I am going to take a taste, and I think I'm gonna use my knife for this piece right here. Oh, how this stays together so nice. Look at this. And that crust stayed together. See that? It's buttery. It's still smoking, actually. I might have to blow on it. I am not stopping at one taste. This is so incredible. I'm telling you, the pie crust, the combination of the berries, the tapioca, this pie is outrageous. I really hope you guys like this recipe because a lot of time went into this, and I'm telling you, it's a great recipe. For the full recipe, I am gonna leave it in the description box below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell for notifications. And we will see you next time to serve up some more love. Take care.